Okay, I have 6 o'clock. Would everyone please join me in the pledge? I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. This is the public hearing regarding the land purchase. Call please.
Chuck Davis.
Here.
Councilman Mike Lee.
Here.
Councilman Corey Oxford.
Here.
Councilman Bob Barker.
Here.
And Councilman Jerry Flutie.
Here.
Okay, we'll move on. Emery, if you would, please step up and explain where we're at and what's going on, please. And then I'll open it to the public.
So we have been investigating into an opportunity to possibly move our public works facility to a new location that would be more advantageous to us, that would be properly zoned. And then also open up that property for a use that might be better suited to benefit the community. Properties that are industrially zoned or heavily commercially zoned are pretty rare, and a property has come up for sale on 2 acres. So we are looking at possibly purchasing that property. Obviously, through that process, make sure we would check all of our environmental boxes, make sure that the property is valued correctly through appraisals. We think this could be a good positive move for us and the community, but we want to do significant due diligence, make sure that we're not paying an absorbent amount for something that's not valued at that, nor are we going to get ourselves into some kind of liability that we can't get out of. So this public hearing is part of that process. And also if somebody has an alternative or comment that we haven't thought of, that's why this forum is open. So.
Thank you. Does the council have anything to add to this? Then, I'll now open it up to the public. Anybody that wants to say anything, we'll try to answer your questions, please. Thank you.
That could get you hurt.
Mayor and council, thank you for entertaining public comment on this hearing. I would like to start out by saying that I applaud the forethought and idea of trying to move the public works facility. That initiative is welcome. I think public works does need a new facility, certainly. And I think that property is a real asset to the town, and anything we can do to kind of clean up not only our central business district, but also our riverfront is certainly welcome, in my opinion. I think it's a great idea to look elsewhere for that facility. I am, however, opposed to relocating it into the light industrial district. I think number one, as Emery mentioned, the industrial property is very rare in this town, and there's not a lot of it. And I think that we should reserve it for use in the private sector and a use that could create some economic growth, jobs. Essentially, moving the public works building to that property would preclude that from being used from anything else for the foreseeable future. I mean, certainly probably 50 years. And I would hate to deter or prevent another business from opening in town. That light industrial area is obviously zoned for manufacturing. I think it'd be great to have a company pursue that property and potentially open another business, employ more people. And I think there are other places where public works can live. That's kind of the main reason. I guess the other would be, I think it is maybe a little bit of a knee-jerk reaction to that property coming available. And that the idea of moving public works over to that area kind of lacks a more comprehensive long-term strategy about where to locate our all of our public buildings and facilities like town hall, like police department. And personally, I think it would be advantageous to think more about having some sort of a municipal center where more than just public works can exist and maybe have a future. And this is, I know, a long time down the road, and I don't mean to be jumping the gun, but have we thought about locating town hall, library, post office, public works, police department, all of those things in a central area and have more of a municipal center? And I think by moving public works over there, you'd be precluded from doing that if that plan were to come together over in the next few years.
Question,
Yes, sir.
why would you want the industrial stuff with the town hall and everything?
Well, I think there's some benefits to management, having everything right there where you have the council and there's obviously a benefit to having police department in this building and public works director in this building and being right adjacent essentially to the public works building and facility. So I think keeping everything close, I think that's a model that's pretty common among municipalities, not just new kind of master plan communities, but even old established communities still have their municipal facilities, usually in some sort of a common area. So, I mean, things that come to mind would be the area above the library now that's got a lot of material stockpiles, the old ball field area. I know that's not zoned industrial, but I don't think that having a municipal center, I think you guys are pretty much able to cite those wherever, because you're the local government agency within the zone districts. So I think if there was more conversation, maybe more forethought into what do we want that to all look like 10, 20, 30 years down the road, that there might be some other locations that pop up as more advantageous. But again, just going back to my primary point, I'm concerned that by taking up 2 acres of prime industrial space, it's a great property, and I think that there's a real promising marketing value to it. And I hate to be a thorn in the side of a sale, Danny. I mean, not personal in any way. I just think that it would be better for the community, for Saratoga, and for the valley to have that be put to more productive use.
It's a good point.
Thank you for hearing my thoughts and allowing me to share them with you tonight.
Just so I'm clear on it.
Yep.
You're thinking more up in that area is where you would
That is,
see it in that area. The only problem that I would have with that is then you're running equipment and stuff around the schools, that kind of stuff in that area.
yeah, that was just one idea I thought I'd throw out there. I mean, I think there are other areas that the town already owns. The town does have a lot of real estate in your portfolio right now. That is one of them.
Yeah, most of it's residential.
Sure. But I think if you even went to maybe further west, along the airport, there's a lot of that stuff in kind of the back corner of the airport that is still within town limits, that's completely undeveloped and isn't in a residential district that could be explored. So, I certainly don't have my heart set on that area. I just mentioned
Yeah.
a place that the town does own. And it'd be an opportunity to clean up some of that area that's really just being used for stockpiling. And put it to good use too. So without having to purchase additional real estate. So. Yeah, thank you guys.
I appreciate that. Thanks.
Thanks, John.
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor.
Please, Randy.
Mayor and Council, this summer I will have lived here 51 years. And so I've seen a lot of changes and a lot of unimprovements and improvements happen in our town. From 2014 to 2016, I was involved with the then town assessment under Mayor John Ziegler, which that assessment cost us about $125,000 to assemble and took about 1.5 years, 2 years. The top three most important things in our community that derived from that assessment was, number one was clean up the town. Number two was daycare. Number three was 24/7 medical care. Private industry has accomplished items 2 and 3. Item number one, since 2016, has never even had a responsible effort. So I'm going to offer an opposing view to Mr. Nelson. It actually was one of my ideas for the town to move off this junk that sits along the river and clean that up for whatever it becomes. I don't care if it's grass and trees. We know there's a lot of pipes and stuff that come out of the river that would prevent a certain amount of development there. I own light industrial land that's a block from the land that you're considering. Mr. Nelson owns light industrial lots that are next to my light industrial lots behind the Silver Moon Motel. And yet, in order to unsupport his theory about why take up prime industrial land, he merely has an office there in prime light industrial land. Would be my contention that there is light industrial land for sale in our community. Some of it may not be listed for sale, but it is my experience that everything is for sale. I have had a shop down there in the light industrial zone since 1985. And I've thought many times about moving it to where my office is, near my storage units. And the one thing that prevents me from doing that is it is such a great central location for my production shop. When my people need something or a tool, they go to the shop first. If they don't have what they need there, they go to the hardware store or the lumberyard and then back to their job. It's a very central location. It's not located on one edge of the town or the other. And it is where there are no residences to become impacted like you would be if you were above that land on the library. I think it's just completely unsuitable to think about taking any equipment or any industrial type of facility to any of those areas where the residents are impacted. I own property in that area, and the structures that I've built are very benign compared to an industrial shop that's running front end loaders. Why would you move your shop there and then not have your gravel pile there, not have this piece of property is big enough to clean all that stuff up that's above the library and move it down there for crushing or whatever it's going to be. And it's all centrally located. So my opinion is going to be 180 degrees from Mr. Nelson's. I think it's a great location. I think it would be great for the efficiency of our town. I served on the city council from 87 to either 90, 89 or 90. And we were in what was then the new town hall that is now the county building. And we used to meet in that little tiny building that got torn down behind the Oddfellows Lodge. And that was the town hall forever and ever and ever. And so I certainly think this building should be or could be adequate for your needs, given the fact that things have changed in 50 years. But I know you're working for storage in that facility down there in the light industrial zone. You have all kinds of space to build storage areas that suit for your town hall. You can stockpile gravel. You can stockpile paving. You have room for all of your equipment. And so I would recommend that, I would highly recommend that piece of parcel be highly considered. Thank you for your time.
Thanks.
Thanks, Randy.
Thanks, Randy.
Appreciate it. Any additional comments? This probably won't be the last public hearing on all this, as we find out more and more. This is not an easy process. It's taken some legwork for Emory to get this done. And there will I would say probably be at least one more public hearing before anything's finalized. Uh, So, please, that's what we're here for. We want to hear what the town wants, you know, that was pretty much what this entire council ran on when they ran for office was what is best for the town of Saratoga, and that's what we're trying to do. And that's why we want and we need input from the town people. So thank you for both for sharing. Yes, thank you. Any other comments?
One comment.
Please.
I really want to thank Randy and John both for coming. I hadn't even thought of John's side, and Randy wasn't totally correct when he said he was 180 degrees from John, because John said beautify Saratoga as well. So those guys both hit on the same thing there with cleaning up the river. But John opened my eyes to a whole different idea. Now I'm sitting there thinking, wow, there are some other locations maybe we could look at as far as going somewhere else. But I just appreciate the fact that they're both here to both comment on that, being on planning and zoning. I just really was going along with let's move it over there. But now it is a whole new eye opener. And thank you for holding this meeting, and I really would appreciate another meeting on it. Now it gives me some other thought, some other things to think about. I'll look forward to hearing what happens next, but I really appreciate you open this up for the town. Thank you.
Thanks, Jim.
Thank you. Well, if there's nobody else that wants to step forward, we're not gonna make a decision on it tonight. We wanted some input. Now we got a little bit of input and you know, we talk to people on the street too that don't come to the meetings, but, and I could get a motion to close this public hearing.
I'd make a motion to close this public hearing.
Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Thanks again, everyone. Okay, we'll move on to the council meeting. Thanks, Johnny. And we do have a quorum, so we'll move on to approval of the agenda. Has everybody had a chance to look at the agenda? Do I have a motion to go ahead and approve the agenda as read?
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Approval of the minutes from the January 7th meeting. Has everybody had a chance to look at those? Do I have a motion to approve the minutes from the January 7th, 2026 meeting?
I'd make a motion to approve the minutes from the January 2nd meeting.
Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, we'll move on to approval of the bills. We have deposits in the amount of $405,250.15. Accounts payable in the amount of $121,157.70. We have transmittals in the amount of $21,516.54. And payroll in the amount of $44,682.59. Any questions, discussion? Do I have a motion to approve the bill?
I'll make a motion to approve the bills.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, we'll move on to correspondence, Jen.
Dick prepared this. And the school bus, school-based incidents partnering law enforcement, first responders and local school systems. As per June 8th, from 8 to 5.
Okay, this will be, we'll post this around the office and everything. So department heads, if you want anybody to go to it, or the council is open to go to it, let us know. Okay, is that all the correspondence?
That is all.
Okay, we'll move on to council comments and I want to go over the accomplishments, what the town did in 2025. First, I'd like to acknowledge the past staff, past council members, as well as the new council members and all the help we have. And especially the town people, we couldn't have done all these projects without you. And it's really appreciated that everybody seems to have gotten behind us and support what we're doing. And I have 13 listed. One of them is the West Bench Sewer Project, which is approximately 80% complete. This has replaced, rehabilitated 7,000 feet of sewer main line on the west side of town. They are back to working on it. Luckily, we've had some good weather, so it'll be done sooner than we expected. And then the Elm Street water line project that the town did between 3rd and 4th Street, which was, this was something. If everybody could have seen the valve setup that went into this trench, it was something, and our guys did it and was very impressive and working well. Plus, we installed a little more storm drain and we paved one half of the street. The other half will get paved when sidewalk goes in from the high school down. We completed line work, additional concrete work and plans for the new restroom at Never Forget Park, which will probably go out to bid next week. We'll go out to bid next week. Up on the south side of town, we took out 2 valley pans, regraded them and paved portion of South Veteran Street. And fixed those up so you don't knock the front end out of your car. If anybody had ever drove up there, they are something. We reworked and paved Walnut Street between State Highway 130 and South River Street. Completed the work and repaved the intersection of 2nd and Main. Work had been done the prior year before, replacing water lines and valve bodies in there. We completed the sewer line hookup in the lift station up at the airport, and then we reseeded highway right away. So hopefully we'll have some green grass going up there where there's nothing there. We sanded, ground and repainted the swimming pool, which that was quite a project. Boys and girls worked quite hard on that. They put up a new border tile, numbers of improvements to the deck, installed new heat exchangers, and made significant plumbing repairs to the swimming pool equipment. They're planning on installing an aqua zip line and insulated blankets for this year. This is really good. We had a successful swimming lesson program here locally, and that really went over well. We had a lot of people, and we had a really good instructor, and it's off and running again for next year. So let people know if they've got somebody they want. We acquired a $1.4 million grant to install a sidewalk, curb and gutter from the high school to the recreation center, including improvements to the bus stop off where the buses stop over there for loading and offloading, and additional paving along that Elm Street. Currently working on a design that'll meet all the grant requirements, and I'm hoping to go out to bid this year, but it's probably not gonna happen until the first part of next year.
Yeah, realistically.
There's just so much entailed with it. We received a 50% grant for a project that includes replacing both main sewer lines underneath the North Platte River. The project is planned for construction in the fall of 2025.
26. I probably messed that up.
Oh, I thought we were going to bid this year.
It is 2026.
26.
Oh, yeah, you did mess that up. 2026. Updated multiple ordinances that included more accurate billing methods for sewer and water, as well as streamlining the subdivision process and opening up the building envelope to accessory buildings within Saratoga. And we made steps in building a team in this office, and well, throughout all the town employees, we have a really good workforce. We have good leadership, and the people, I can't say enough about the people that work in the office. So we had another very successful year, and I'm very proud of all the town employees. Okay, we'll move on to reports from departments. We have the town hall. We have Mountain West Technologies. What this is on this is they sent down another lease agreement. We got the changes made that the attorney wanted in for the tower out here. And you guys have given me permission to sign off on that. This is for the water tower. And it reads the same thing. The only thing difference is the address and the GPS coordinates. So, and out of all of this, I spoke with Alicia, and we've received a lot of free support from them. They're setting in what they call a backup position now. So if something happened, the union lost all theirs, we can go right into backup with them. And it works a little different, but it's all free of charge. So anyway, the council's in favor of this. Chair would entertain a motion, go ahead and approve this site lease at the water tower.
I'd make a motion to go ahead and approve the water tower agreement.
Have a second?
I'll second it.
Any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Now, along that, I was contacted by Greg Ryan. And he offered to give the town a tower. An 80-foot tower. It's approximately 20 years old. It appears to be in great shape. I think it's a little bigger footprint than the one we told them to put up out here. I just wanted to know the council's feelings on it. Probably what we'll end up doing is if the town so chooses to do something like this, I don't know what it's gonna be since we told them to go ahead and order that tower, but they weren't in favor of it, mainly due to liabilities. They don't know anything about the tower. They don't have any specs on the tower. The tower is older. There's no warranty on the tower. So we would probably have to have somebody put this tower up if we so choose to get this tower. Greg,
Where was this tower from?
it was a windmill tower that come from Patty Lufkins. She had 4 of them, I do believe, 3 or 4 of them. And Greg overseen the taking down of them. But he read it in the paper, but he didn't get in touch with us in time, or we could have looked into it more. But like I told him, I said, I've got to take this before the council. I can't make a decision like this. And, but there is a tower there. Like I say, it's a little bigger footprint. I think it's probably closer to 7 to 8. Somewhere between 6 and 10, or 6 and 8 foot. And the one we're getting is only 8 foot or 6 foot. I can't remember. I did talk to Mountain West and they didn't feel comfortable using a youth tower. They don't, you know, and I kind of understand where they're coming from. I've talked around to a couple of people around town about it, and they kind of felt the same way. When you put up a used tower, you don't know. You don't know how it was taken down, with something tweaked, with something pulled apart. So it's whatever the council so chooses to do.
I think we should stick with the agreement we made with Mountain West.
I agree.
On that.
I hate to spend that much money putting something
Yeah.
used up.
They know what they're doing. They've put these kind of towers up before. They know exactly what they're doing. It'll go quicker and be
Okay.
better and stronger. Probably a warranty on it, and we'll take care of it.
Okay, just stay with where we're
I
at.
agree with that.
Wrap with it.
Okay, I will thank Greg, and anybody needs a tower, please get a hold of Mr. Ryan. He's got 3 or 4 of them. All right, we'll move on to Coal Creek Law Agreement. Everybody will read in there. We have a letter in there, a letter of engagement. John and I, it's just you and I, wasn't it? You that talked to Mr. Rod?
Jim was there also.
Oh, okay. Couldn't remember. But anyway, I went off a recommendation from the town attorney and for an attorney to take care of the police department. I couldn't get the guy to call me back. I tried and tried. We talked once and he never would call me back. In the meantime, I got a recommendation to this Rob Piper, and he actually worked at the PD for a while he was going to law school. He was a sergeant with the sheriff's office, and now he's an attorney. Everybody I've talked to said he's a good, decent fellow and a good attorney. So I went ahead and told him that I would appoint him. And so that's what I'd like to do tonight. I'd like to appoint Rod Piper as the prosecuting attorney for the police department. And, but I need the council's approval. So somebody would make a motion.
I would make a motion to appoint Rod Piper.
I have a motion on the table. Do I have a second?
I'd second it.
Any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Takes care of that. Okay, we'll move on to the police department.
Mr. Mayor, Council. Don't have much for you tonight. We did get the 3 new cameras are installed and up at the hot pool.
Good job.
Mike's been waiting with bated breath to hear that. Otherwise, I did finally finish tallying some of our calls from 2025. We had a total of 4,436 law calls in 2025. Our number one call was actually traffic offenses, which would be traffic stops and traffic complaints. There was 271 of those. Coming in close was animal related calls, dealing with dogs, sheep, goats, everything else we've had this past year. There was 248. And it goes down from there. We had very few violent crimes between just assaults and domestics. There was only 17 this past year. Property crimes. There was 23 thefts reported, 23 property destructions, and 11 burglaries reported within town limits over the past year. And then everything else just came down to a handful of calls. Where there was 13 DUIs, ready reports, 21 accidents. There was 3 weapons offenses. The weapons offenses are ones that are actually just reported as shots fired and such. Most of those were actually, out of those 3, I think all 3 of those were unfounded shots fired calls that we had. I don't think we had any weapons offenses in 2025. There was 4 drug offense reports that were made by, I'd just be like residents or someone reporting that someone had drugs. And all of those actually were founded reports. And surprisingly, there was actually, I thought there was gonna be more, but there was only 4 hot pool violations this past year.
Well, you got a new camera now. There'll be more next year.
Yeah, it was actually already used last night to be able to identify that there was a beer down at the hot pool. And so that was gone and taken care of. He was able, he saw on the camera, he's like, is that a beer can? Was able to zoom in and yes, it was.
Bingo.
Yeah, these new cameras, I looked, our old cameras went in June of 2020, and these new cameras actually have a much clearer picture. They did recommend that we get someone up and clean off the lenses on the tall one, so I was gonna see if Emery Eugene had wanting to climb up there and wipe them down with some alcohol on the tall one above the hot pool. The lower ones, I got a step ladder I can reach. That one, not so much. But that is all I have for tonight.
The only thing I want to thank John for everything he's done, but we did talk today, and I told him to go ahead and buy it. We only have 2 cars with fire extinguishers in them, police cars, so we're gonna go ahead and
Probably should
get the
have
others
those.
equipped.
Yeah, he came to service and I started looking. I'm like, well, this one doesn't have one. This one doesn't have one.
So we thought it'd be a good idea. The guy gave him $540 or something like that.
It's $104 a piece
So,
and I'm getting 5 more. Because some of the ones we had were the really small ones also. So we're gonna put,
a little bigger one in, you know, because it was,
you actually use on a car.
chances are, if there's a car fire or something, they're gonna be the first on the scene. anyway. So, be good to have.
Yep, I agree.
So. Well, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Anybody have any questions for John? Okay,
Before we go on, can we back up and we discuss the audit?
sure. It's a ding it wrote down. Okay, the audit, everybody's got a copy of the draft audit. I've looked through it front to back. Everybody has. I don't know if you guys got yours in time to look through them, look over them. We are working on, in it, they put what they call a little naughty list. We call it a little naughty list. It's a few little things that we've got to get corrected, meet all the standards. And one of them is we have a procurement policy, but it's old and it's outdated. And that's one of them. And we're diligently working on that. We met with the attorney again on that today. So hopefully within the next couple of weeks, that's out. But the audit really looks good. And we get a lot of praise from the guy who done the audit, that the girls are doing a fantastic job on that. So what I'd like to do is if the council, as we move forward, we need to get back with them and get this submitted. And then we'll have the original copy and we'll vote on that one.
Sounds good to me.
Anybody in favor of the?
Yep.
Okay. Is there any questions on it? I asked that part.
No.
I don't have it.
Okay. All right. Hey, we'll move on to Fire Department. Carter, do you have anything? We'll move on to the Recreation Department.
Evening, gentlemen. I guess the first order of business I have is a new AED. I know we purchased one not long ago. It has since been recalled. And Jen and myself have been trying to back it down for, I don't know how long.
6 months.
Yeah, and so then I finally got someone on the phone the other day and they said maybe 1 to 2 months, maybe, till we see a replacement. And I just think it's kind of important that we don't go without one, especially with all the activities we have currently going on at the rec center.
But we have two.
Well, we had the one that we bought this new one for the rec center. And then the one that was at the rec center, that was a loaner from the police department, has now since expired and the battery's out. And we were talking earlier, and the replacement battery is
Almost $600.
So we're basically without one right now.
correct.
Yeah.
I mean, and we got youth basketball coming up, volleyball currently, middle school, high
Well,
school sports.
I remember correctly, we purchased the new one and was going to purchase another one. Another newer one.
That one was going to be designated to go to the pool.
Yes, so. Yeah, we really need one of these over there. The council wish to do.
I'd make a motion to go ahead and purchase the new AED for $1,658.
You have that money in your budget?
I do. I would talk with Farina about it. Yeah, we got
Okay. I have a motion on the table to go ahead and purchase a new AED for the rec center while we wait for our other one to be replaced. And, do I have a second? Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay,
Yeah, other than that, it's as busy as can be over there. We got middle school sports, we got volleyball, adult volleyball currently. About to send out the registration for youth basketball. We have now a total of 5 people on our committee, which for our youth basketball program, which is accumulation of coaches from Encampment and Saratoga. So I think it's going great. We're getting kids signed up for lifeguard recertification, new certification, so it's going on at the.
okay. Are you gonna have enough that we won't have to go to Rollins this year?
Yeah, and so probably by the next council meeting, we're looking to set up an interview and probably potentially hire a couple more. But yeah, I think right now we're sitting at probably 10 or more lifeguards.
Okay.
If they all pass their certification.
And we have a swimming instructor.
We do have one. We're looking to have a second one by the time the pool opens.
Great.
We won't be installing our zip line, hopefully soon.
We have a little bit of time.
It's been nice out.
Okay.
I got.
Any questions for Carter?
Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Carter.
Okay, we'll move on to Department of Public Works. Mr. Emery.
Gentlemen, I had property purchase down here on the agenda as my primary reasoning for that was the public hearing. It probably didn't necessarily need to have that on there, saying how we're not going to make a solidified decision tonight. But with that, in that regard, moving forward, what I've kind of been talking to council about having an offer possibly drafted in case we do go that route. So after taking some good feedback in tonight, maybe it would be conducive to have another public forum option at the next meeting. And depending on what we decide to do, we could proceed with the review and fine tuning of that offer, or we can move on to different avenues.
Yeah.
Does that work for you guys?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
On that, I do have a letter and I didn't read it in because I felt it needed to be read in the council meeting, but it was from a citizen by the name of Scott Curbs, and basically he felt that kind of the way John did is not to take that property off. By the town moving over there, it comes off the taxes. Nobody will pay taxes on it. And he said that wouldn't be in the best interest. He suggested using property inside the airport fence near the high school. I'm not for sure that can even be done inside the fence. That was one of his, and that way he said you could put your building and your rock and your concrete piles that need to be moved. Property is already in town ownership. And then he brought up that if the town needs money for this project, sell property already owned, advertise for a minimum price and let the bidding begin. Please compile a list of all the real estate owned by the town. It needs to be sold and back on property tax rolls to encourage investment in this town and county. That was his feelings. And like I said, I saved it because I knew it was on here and I felt it needed to be read under that, but it'll be attached to the public hearing stuff. So that was his feelings.
Yeah, I think we got some very well thought out comments tonight that probably represent multiple people's views. So I think it'd be pertinent to take some time and digest those and
Yeah,
go from there.
I agree.
Okay, well, I'll get it advertised and keep working with council on that. And I do have all the environmental stuff lined up as we carry through, if we go through that process, and DQ will cover the cost of all those stamp
And
plans.
it kind of seems silly to even be thinking about the stuff up on the hill where we already got conflict with the homeowner.
Exactly, exactly.
The hill up there.
Yep.
Makes no sense to consider them lots even.
And then once we get the sidewalk in and we have the stuff over there, our guys running in and out with loaders and trucks and everything.
Past the school, past the walkway.
Yeah, well, we can discuss that all amongst ourselves and,
Yeah.
you know, not, and then discuss it in council forum when we decide to move forward, but.
Okay, so I think that's as much as we need to do on that.
Okay. Thanks, Henry.
We'll move on to number 14. So I'm glad that we kind of timed out on the skid steer situation. And I think talking to Eugene, running some more prices, I think what makes the most sense, actually, we have a machine that's not cabbed that we haven't been using. And it's a little chilly and there it makes more sense. Let's fix the cab machine, bring it back, trade in the old machine, and the difference in cost between like a low hour used one and a new one is not super significant. So you could put together an RFP and draw in whatever the lowest price on a newer one that we could. And then I think it's cleaner that way. But that would be my preference. So if you guys are okay with me getting that fixed, we'll run off that quote. It will be a little bit more. The AC's got a leak in it that I do want to get addressed. I think the condenser's got a crack in it or something. So.
Yeah.
So if you guys are good with that, I'll get it fixed and bring it home, and then we'll look at putting an RFP together and trading in the older case, sorry.
Okay. The council's in favor to have a motion to go ahead. What was the quote on that?
It's for some, but it's probably gonna be plus another 15 to 20, because that ace, by the time they get in there and find the AC leak and take the condenser off, whatever they need to do to replace it.
15 to 20%. Oh.
Yeah,
I'm like 1,000?
So you're looking at trading the cat and the case in on another one?
no, I think we'd keep the cat and trade the old case in, so then we'd have two cab machines.
Yeah. What did they think they'd give us for the case?
I'm not sure yet. So we put that out with the RFP, say, hey, this is the machine, this is part of your proposal to us, is what are you gonna give us for this
Yeah.
machine? And then we could roll those over when we get them in.
So, do I have a motion to go ahead and fix the cat machine that's at Caterpillar right now? Skid steer?
I'll make a motion.
Do you have a second? I'll second it. Any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Perfect. Thank you, gentlemen. This is our second pay app on the West Bench project. This is for the majority of what's been completed. It'll leave after we pay this one out. It'll leave about 700,000 left to finish. This pay app comes out of special purpose tax, and there's also we will be transferring some money out of the general fund to cover the cost of the extension up past our property. So we felt that was a more reasonable place to pay for that when we approved that project. So we transferred some out of our special purpose tax wild class and some out of the general fund wild class. We've had significant funds to cover this. Greg looked it over. I think all the quantities are good. Some of the quantities you'll look on there, they'll have little parentheses around them. We ended up having to use a manhole extension, or ended up putting in a few more feet of pipe because of elevation differences, because of stair steps.
Do I have a motion to go ahead and pay Rocky Mountain their second pay up is $600,839.85.
I'd make the motion to go ahead and pay Rocky Mountain Sand and Gravel, their payout of $600,839.85.
Got a second?
I'll second it.
Any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay,
The one big item I wanted to touch on while I was up here real quick, as and Chuck touched on it earlier. Parks, we got all the contract docs approved by the state to go out, so we will be kicking those out to advertising next week. And we'll have one for the restroom, one for all the concrete, and then one for the landscape or the irrigation and the sod. We did go ahead and install the majority of the necessary fittings to get the irrigation supply in, and then all the power, sewer, and waters all ran over to where the bathroom's going. So we are ready to rock and roll. So those will be going out here momentarily. So,
good.
and then I haven't anything real big else on Public Works. And those got a couple of things on the joint sewer, water and sewer joint powers board when we get down there that are related to water and sewer.
Okay, so do you want to move on to planning and zoning then?
Yeah, so at this last meeting, we did have kind of a discussion about some goals that they kind of want to work on this year. And a lot of them are things they're working on prior, projects to help clean up the town, signs. They're in a big favor of us moving and doing something with that property, taking steps forward, as we've moved through that DEQ program with Brownsfield, maybe trying, if we do get moved, get those buildings, any asbestos or mold remediated, and then getting them tore down, cleaning things up, stuff like that.
So have we heard anything from that Brownsfield?
I did hear back, I think it was a week and a half ago, their asbestos people are ready to get us booked in and get up here.
Okay.
I guess they had a pretty big backlog, and with the warm weather, they were actually able to get caught up. And then we had kind of a final little meeting on our variance clarification ordinance, I guess we'll call it. And they were pretty happy with where we're at. So we'll have a public hearing on that at the next meeting. And then that'll go off to you guys, depending on how that'll go. And I think it's pretty well written. It explains kind of the process a little bit better for everybody. So if we get new commission members, they'll know what's going on. An applicant will have a better idea of what's going on. And they spend a lot of time and effort and getting something that's pretty clean and easy to understand.
Good.
That's all.
Okay, and then we have the third and final reading on ordinance 890. So, Ms. Jen?
Saratoga, ordinance number 890, an ordinance amending the zoning designation for a portion of the land within the municipal boundaries of the town of Saratoga as described herein from light industrial to heavy industrial, as well as also authorizing the amending of the town's official zoning map and to provide an effective.
Okay. This is for the Bennett property. Is there any discussion? So I have a motion to go ahead and approve ordinance number 890 on the third and final reading.
I would make a motion to approve the third and final reading on ordinance 890.
Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Okay,
Thank you, guys. Water and Sewer Joint Powers Board at our last meeting last week, I'd say the two bigger items that we talked about is with this lead and copper, we're gonna have to do a potholing verification project on some of the ones that we're not sure what their composition is. We've talked about that multiple times. The state has a pretty good amount of funding to help communities out with that project. And so the IUP was due last week, and so we submitted an application. And we want, this is some funding we would like to get our hands on if we can and try and get this taken care of. So when 2027 rolls around, we've met all the inventory requirements. And then we also, we have a significant amount of 4-inch metallic lines in town and 6-inch metallic lines primarily on 3rd Street and then up on the hill up here on the west bench. And we are gonna see if we can get our hands on some funding to get a big chunk of those replaced. The principal forgiveness was pretty good on the sewer project, so I think we have an opportunity to see if we can capitalize that again. And also our loan payment that we were paying on the Wellfield transmission line will be up here in like 3 years. So that's a good opportunity for us to roll into a big distribution project and get more pipe replaced and keep things on the up and up without really having the budget take a significant hit. So we're probably looking at about a mile of pipe is probably about what it is. And that would get rid of a lot of the 4-inch pipe and then the pipe on Third Street that we kind of refer to it as a mini transmission line. That would be a good project and would keep us on top of things. So those are kind of two bigger items.
That's good. Okay. Any questions for Emery?
No.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Thanks, Emery.
Thanks, Sheldon.
Buddy.
Okay, we'll move on to the Recreation Commission, Mr. Barkers.
Nothing new to report. We haven't had a meeting since our last council meeting. The next meeting is here at the town hall, February 2nd at 6 o'clock.
Okay, thank you. Saratoga Airport Advisory Board, Brenda.
Board talked about what they need to do to hook up the hangers to the sewer and hiring an engineer for the main line. They also talked about, after the sewer work is done, finishing the entrance road and all that. They want to run some more paving to the south, that would be like from the FBO building south. And the engineers discussed where they are with the master plan and required. They just, and then Lad discussed how we would like to redesign the area south of the FBO for a South Bay area and tie downs. Might be down the road. They discussed cleaning up the tumbleweeds in the area, who would do that, and possibly paying David Worthington to do that. And then the landing fees for December were $2,850, and that's slightly down from December's in the past. But for the year of 2025, they were $7,000 over anything they've ever made before. And that was $174,625 for the year. And that's all I have for that.
Any questions? Okay, we have a letter from Thad York, his letter of interest to stay on the board. As far as I know, that's the only one we've gotten. And so Brenda, if you'd read that.
Dear Mayor Chuck Davis and Council meeting, I am writing to express interest in continuing serving on the Saratoga Airport Advisory Board. I have served in a management capacity for several diverse businesses within the television, telecom, timber, ranching, hospitality, and outfitting industries. My professional experience has included a significant amount of long-range financial and strategic planning, lease review and negotiations, and oversight of complex business operations in a variety of settings. Currently, my primary role is as general manager of Silver Spur Ranches, which is one of the largest cow-calf operations in the country. I also continue to serve as an officer and director for various business entities located throughout the country, which necessitates my frequent air travel in and out of Shively Field. My educational and professional experiences are in line with the duties of the Airport Advisory Board as set out in ordinance number 851. With my frequent travel in and out of Shively Field, I am also intimately familiar with the airport and have a vested personal interest in its ongoing viability. The Upper North Platte River Valley community depends tremendously on the success of the airport in Saratoga, both in terms of business travel for those living here, as well as to support the tourism industry on which many local businesses depend. I'm therefore committed to serving the board in a manner that will promote the long-term success of the airport in a fiscally responsible and efficient manner that serves the community and industries that are so important to the valley. Sincerely, Thad W. York.
Any questions? Do I have a motion to go ahead and appoint Thad York to remain on the Airport Advisory Board, and his term, how long is that term?
They're all 4 years, but
They're all staggered, so.
I'd make the motion to approve that.
Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Would you let him know? Thank you. Anything else on the airport?
that's it.
Okay, their next meeting is February 9th at 3:30. Here at the town hall. Okay, we'll move on to South Central Ambulance or Wyoming Medical Service Board and their meeting minutes are in the packet. Their next meeting is February 17th, 2026 at 6 PM in Ham. Okay. Do I have a motion to go into executive session for personnel matters of litigation in accordance with Wyoming statute 16-4-405, little a, 2 little i's, and 3 little i's.
I'll make a motion.
Have a motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. there any further business to be brought before the town? Do I have a motion to adjourn this meeting?
I'd make a motion to adjourn this meeting.
Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Meeting adjourned.